Hello, my name is Luigers and welcome to a video about the FV304 on World of Tanks, and it is probably my favorite artillery tank of all the artillery tanks that I have played, and hopefully I will show you in this video why. So the FV304, aka the Bert, is a very different artillery from any other artillery, since it is very small and it's very fast. It doesn't have very good traverse speed, but it is fairly mobile. You can turn your tank faster than most other artillery pieces can, but in comparison to its speed, it's quite slow to turn, and it would be very, very good, and I guess a bit overpowered if it would also turn fast. Now, what you will see from these replays is that the rate of fire is very good in the FV304. It is extremely good when you can continue to lob shells at the target. It is also very accurate, and here we can see that most enemies that are behind cover can still be hit. But the balancing factor is that you're not going to do a lot of damage. But these 150-200 damage rolls will stack very, very quickly. Now, what is a really, really bad thing about the FV304 is that its shells take a very long time to arrive. Just take a look at these shots. These are almost at the maximum range. They take several seconds to arrive, so you have to take enormous amount of lead to your shots. So if moving targets tend to be very, very hard to hit on longer distances, because you have to take so much lead and they have several seconds time to change their course. But since the Bert has so really good rate of fire, it's not gonna matter if a couple of your shots are gonna miss, and overall you are pretty accurate and you can kind of rely on hitting most of your shells if the enemy is not moving. And here we can see that even though the Bert has a very, very bad range for artillery, it can sweep very fast, get closer to the action, and because of its accuracy and very, in artillery standards, quite short aiming time, you can very much take these speculative shots. And even though this KV-1 is behind a hill and a wreck, we can still put in a shot very reliably. And now we can see that the KV is moving. It's very hard to hit, and we actually did hit, but did only 54 damage, and we are tier higher artillery. Usually when you get slammed by an artillery piece that is a one tier higher, you're gonna get absolutely wrecked. But not in this one. The Bert will not. It will very rarely make one-shot kills and really huge damage rolls. But this right here is why people hate Bert. Because This Jagdpanzer IV was sure that no one can hit me, but nope. Bert will go like, nope, I can still hit you. And this is why I love Bert, because you know, you don't expect to be hit, but the Bert can really easily lob shells over obstacles. And what's very good and surprising about this vehicle is that once you get used to it, it's very, very, very versatile. It really, it's very rare that you do bad in Bert, because you have the rate of fire and you have the accuracy. You know, it's really easy to do okay, but it's also very hard to do very good. Now, I've secured 4 kills in this game, and this game was 51%er. And you know, you could argue that these kills have been pretty much kill steals, because I have done 1100 damage, at least that we don't know of. And I'm quite sure, well, we'll have made a couple of blind shots, but yeah, you know, tier 6 artillery, 1000 damage, nah, it's not very much. So this game hasn't been like a monster damage game of, you know, not even close. But Bert is one of those vehicles that you probably should go for, you know, try to secure kills. Most artillery just you should go for the damage. Shoot the one with higher. Shoot the one which one has a lot of health, in order to use your shells to maximum effect. But the Bert usually doesn't do a lot of damage. There we did 458, which is a very nice roll.
Got him!
And got the 25 AT. But you know, the Bert fires so fast and the shells don't usually do a lot of damage, so it's very good idea to secure the kills on low HP enemies. Now we have 6 kills, and with any other artillery, as we can see, all the other artilleries are parked at the end of the map, but we can throttle up, go to, can we get to 60? No, we can't get to, quite can't get to 60 kilometers per hour, but we can get here first. And since I do have the sixth sense, I know that okay, now we need to make small evasive maneuvers, since the gorilla is going to kill me in one shot. And there he is. Back up. And that was a very lucky shot, but you can afford to take these in Bert. So that was a pretty good game. A mastery badge, 7 kills, 2650 damage done, 1185 base experience. Dealing damage to 11 different enemy tanks, killing 7 of them. Well, you could say that they were kill steals, but dealing damage to 11 out of 15 is pretty good. It's pretty good. 24 shots fired, 16 direct hits. That's pretty good. Enemy vehicle spotted 1. Okay, so this next game is a tier 8 game and a 53%er, which means that as the Bert has a very low caliber gun, it will struggle against most tier 8 heavies unless you get the top of the tanks. Then you have a slight chance of putting your shell in and doing full 450 damage, but you will see in this replay that it's quite hard to do a lot of damage in tier 8 games, since the gun that Bert has is only a tier 5 gun. Or I don't know actually which tier it is, but you know, you get it on the bishop at tier 5, and in there it's very good. In this game, the matchup, it's not so good anymore. And here I just came here in order to take shots at the enemy base, but since I noticed that where most of us here are spotted and the torques are being ripped apart, it's time to take a leave. There's nothing here what we want, so leg it and let's try to find another place to have some shooting going on. Now, this game did not start very well at all, but let's see how it develops. Let's just speed this up a bit. Okay, parked behind trees. We have super Pershing. Well, the super Pershing is very good example of these heavily armored targets, but if given side, we can.
Critical hit.
Yeah, we'll get the critical hit. Don't know, did we do any damage? Probably not. And you see that, you know, as the rate of fire is so good, we can really lob shells, you know, very speculatively, you know, not counting on it to hit. You know, if we would be like in a Hummel, we'd really kind of have to aim and think that, you know, is this a good time to make the shot? And if that would happen, that just, you know, giving lead and the enemy didn't go forward, you miss, and it's gonna suck. You're gonna have to reload like half a minute. But, you know, in Bert, it doesn't really matter. But even now, when we are shooting the sides of these vehicles, we did not managed only to do 94 damage. And it's very hard to engage these because they're constantly moving a bit, and so the shell traverse speed is so low. It's very hard to predict where you need to put your shots. And there we can see that the splash damage or the radius is you know, you cannot count on doing any splash damage. It just don't happen. If you do splash damage, the enemy is like either a light tank, or you're gonna do very minor damage, like, you know, 10 damage, 20 damage, very small amounts of damage. So maybe in tier 6 game it can make a difference, you know, if there's someone with very low health, but in tier 8 it really doesn't make any difference at all. Now here the enemy has pushed all the way from here and are trying to get us off guard from our base. And I came here to support the IS-6 if he would spot something for me. And he will. There were Löwe and there's a KV2 over here. Churchill 7 on the open. T-34. Now that's one of those vehicles that, you know, you really don't do anything. Literally anything if you hit in the turret. Okay, there's the Löwe. There's also an IS. Now Löwe is so boxy that you're always gonna do something. 115. And this is what I mean. Shooting at these targets will only grant you like 100 damage at best. Now Bert does have quite good gun arc, but it isn't super good. It's okay. Okay, an IS. Now, even though the enemies are this close, it's quite hard to hit if they are moving, because you do kind of have to give them a lot of lead, even though when they are right there. Now, the situation looks quite grim. The IS-6 is dead, and there's no one spotting. So now it's time to go to a light tank mode in artillery, which is very rare to happen. Now there's an enemy FV304, and he goes to block me. But I need to proximity detect the Löwe for my team. And now I just park here, knowing that no one can shoot me from here. And if the FV304 comes closer, I'll get a shot at him. But he knows that. So what he does, he tries to bait me to shoot. Now I know I will probably not kill him in one shot, but watch this. 189 damage. Back off. And obviously he's going to chase me. But because of the excellent rate of fire, we can pull another shot. So there's literally no other artillery in tier 6 or higher that can pull that off. Well, maybe in the Crusader SP if you're using the same gun, but no, you just can't do that. And this is why this tank is so good. Even I'm not showing this replay because I did exceedingly well in it, but just to show you that, you know, even when you are in low tier games, you're not useless. You're not gonna do a lot of damage. I have only a shy of 500 damage, which is basically nothing. You're probably going to do 500 damage in one shot with a bigger artillery. But we can scout the enemy artillery very fast. You know, this game was secure at this point, but you know, gain a kill and some spotting damage on the other artillery piece. So GG. So that was only a second class mastery badge, and you know, really we didn't do a lot. And apparently we did not spot the other enemy artillery. What was it? It was the Lorraine. But we still did 909 damage, secured 2 kills, and that was enough for 703 base XP. 18 shots fired, only 8 hits. These were very speculative. But yeah, almost 3 kilometers traveled. That was a pretty good game. Wasn't a very big damage dealing game, but it was mostly to showcase how the Bert will struggle in higher tier games. Okay, so here is the first replay that is not mine, and my replays that you just saw, they weren't, you know, spectacular. Nothing superb happened in those, and that was the point. The point of those videos were that you see that those are quite casual games. Of course, they are a bit better than the most average game, but you know, every single time you sit down and play some World of Tanks, you're gonna get a game like that. It's very easy with the FV304 because it's so versatile. So having 3 games, one of them will be very good, one of them will be very bad, and the third one will be very casual, dealing a couple of kills, dealing 1000 damage or so. But here we have Dr. Octopus. We have Dr. Octopus in his FV304, aka Bert, and he will show us a bit better game on... He will show us a bit better result in the Bert. Now the matchup is even via the XVM, 50%er, nothing major, I guess. So we'll see what happens. It's quite quiet. It's T20. Watch, not quite having a shot. Now we would have, but it's not spotter anymore. Speculative shot. There's a tiger. The tiger is so big that it's quite easy to hit him. But he's not that big. But no mind. We'll just call him Duck, because Dr. Octopus. Duck is almost loaded already. No, yes. Yeah, 166. Yeah, that's probably right through the turret. Not a. It's quite small roll.
Critical hit.
But you know, with these 100 to 200 rolls is, yeah, that's what we Bert drivers do. 68 splash, that's pretty high damage from splashing. But you know, as you can see that when you are being hit by Bert, you now know why they hit you over and over and over again, because it's so accurate and it fires so fast. I personally hate the moment so much when I'm on sights of an enemy Bert. It's the most frustrating tank ever. Or the frustrating moment ever, but secure the kill on Tiger. Quite either lightning fast reflexes or quite luck. Quite a good luck. Oh, didn't hit the IS. I think that was very good reflexes.
Oh, gotcha.
That was nice shooting by the Duck. Now medium tanks. Nice targets. Only 155. Oh, now we're gonna get that kill. Goodbye.
Gotcha.
Good artillery players don't even look when they die. Stug. Stug.
Critical hit.
Oh, quite unlucky not to penetrate the Stug. Ooh. The killer toaster.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Yeah. You know, I'm quite unlucky when dealing with these German tank destroyers. I tend to hit every single time their gun mantlet and not doing that full damage as the Duck just did. But You know, he did exactly what you're supposed to do. Prioritize on the most weakly armored enemy tanks. And those tanks are very, very powerful. And now he is afraid of the Stug 3. And there he is. And we can easily loop a shell over these buildings right here, just waiting for the Stug to go into the crosshairs and secure a 6th kill. Oh man. And there's still plenty of enemies to shoot at. The situation is 8 to 10. We have enemy ARL. Quite surprised. Even I'm quite surprised that, you know, you can hit an ARL from there, because that's quite steep. You know, quite big fall. Right there, we'll hit. Oh yes. And you know, dealing almost 500 damage to any of tier 5 or 6 heavies, that's a huge roll. And it's the reload time on the Bert is something around 10 seconds. So you can really make those shells come very quickly and just annihilate anyone. Now where is that? The enemy is not pushing, at least of yet. We're losing 8 to 11. And the GW Panther and the Hummel haven't proven to be extremely useful. Now there's their ARL. We can have a shot at them. Ah! Hummel was about to shotgun him, but the enemy Hummel just goes like, nope. Oh, there's ARL is dealt with by the Chi. Nice shooting by him. He's on 2 kills. The enemy GW Panther is on 5 kills. Well, it is a tier 7 game, so I think the GW Panther is one of those vehicles that when it faces a tier 7 game, oh, that was unlucky. But you know, the GW Panther is almost a bit unfair, if you ask me. Well, it's not unfair, but you know, it's very easy to one-shot kill KV-1Ss and stuff like that with that. Having the Bert on here, it's a very different story. But the Duck is already on 7 kills. And he's all alone with the Chi. And there's 5 enemy tanks remaining. Plenty of kills to score. There hasn't been a lot of information about the KV2. Ah, there he is. I was just about to say that he could be anywhere. Doesn't quite have a shot here. KV2's disappeared. Probably closing in. The Chi closes for the kill. No fear of RT. Now I would just personally go and get the kill as fast as I can. But he nails the kill without taking any damage in return. So next, KV2. Now where is he? KV2 is not the stealthiest tank of all time. But what? Where's the Cheery going? Ah, he's probably going to go up on that small hill or slope. No. Doc is trying to look around, checking that the GRE is he's in a bush location. The KV2 hasn't started to cap, which I would have probably expected to happen, but he didn't. Now the GRE is on the move again, and okay, so he has left the duck to deal with a KV2. Place your bets. Yeah, so the Cheery, I would have personally gone for the KV2, but there is a valid argument that the Cheery wants to surprise the enemy artillery because they are going to be pre-aimed at Bert and the Cheery's last known position. And now Doc is doing very well, telling him that, you know, I can't hit further than this, so you're not going to get any support from me, even though I would have wanted to give you. And the Cheery is being spotted, and he spotted a Hummel. Doc knows that, oh my god, the KV2 will know that the Doc is somewhere around here, and he'll have no support. And the Hummel shotguns the Cheery. And the KV2 starts the cap. Now, if Doc would be at any other artillery, this would be very, very, very hard to pull off. But the Bert is very, very flexible. You can kind of think the Bert as a light tank that has very bad traverse speed and a pretty good derp gun. Now Doc just zooms in back to base to deal with that cap. And the enemy artillery is obviously pre-aimed here, so he got to be fast. And oh, there's a it's only 4% of HP.
Enemy armor destroyed.
Gets the kill. So, and now he's spotted. So the KV was, yeah, he was facing the other way. And now it's only 2 Hummels versus the Bert. Now, the Bert is very good at these kind of... Oh my god, he's here.
Gotcha.
Shotgun. Oh my god, I honestly didn't remember that one. But, you know, the Bert is very good at these kind of situations. The Bert is very... It can be... I can go as far as saying very good at close quarters. As we saw earlier on the... oh, the other Hummel is here as well. The replay where I was spotting the Löwe. And I killed the enemy Bert. But, you know, it's... very good at this kind of stuff. And the Hummel is very bad at this kind of stuff. Oh, he's spotted again. Hummel cannot aim here. He thinks that Bert cannot hit him.
Got him.
Well, in reality, he most certainly can, dealing 10 kills. A marvelous, marvelous result for Dr. Octopus. So that was an amazing game. So getting easily the mastery badge, getting almost 5,000 XP, having it doubled, and 52,000 credits, earning Pools Medal, Gore's Medal, High Caliber, Top Gun, and a Defender. Doc did a bit more than 3,100 damage, 3,108 damage, 10 kills, 1,427 base experience. That's just huge. That's really team carrying. The Type 5G Re did reasonably well. I thought he would have done worse, but he did reasonably well actually. Getting 4 kills also. The enemy GW Panther, however, had also really good kill, a really good game, dealing a bit more than 2,600 damage and securing 5 kills. That's very well played. That's up for the Bert and this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please share it in the comments, press that like button, and I'll make some more of these goodies. Up till then, I'll see you in the next video.